Snipers, you have to see what's happening in the Bitcoin price this weekend as the S&P 500 closed out the week with a green weekly candle, but Bitcoin's weekly candle is still red. Bitcoin has been underperforming the S&P 500 coming into this weekend, but with our weekly candle about to reset in less than 20 hours, I had to get out this emergency update, Snipers, before this move happens, because look at this four-dimensional revolving part. Bitcoin's weekly candle is still red, and it looks very different than how the S&P 500's weekly candle closed. What you'll notice about the S&P 500 is we're still below the 20-week moving average and still below the major resistance, which right now it's the midpoint of this channel, but we had a green weekly candle close with the S&P 500 closing out the week up over 2.4%. Bitcoin right now with this weekly candle about to close in less than 24 hours, you can see here, there's a very high chance we potentially close above 19,800. That is what we're monitoring. That's the most important thing right now for the Bitcoin price. And we are slowly inching our way to test this major resistance. We had a bullish candle here with a bullish wick. And so far we've seen, it looks like 3 green daily candles. So what we're monitoring right now is, since the S&P 500 gave us bullish sentiment into this weekend, is Bitcoin going to come up above 19,800? This is the major resistance that we want to close this weekly candle above. And if that's the case, when that new weekly candle opens, what we're monitoring is a potential test of the 20-week moving average. And you can see that's currently sitting right around 21,000 US dollars, but we have to get above 19,800. So I think it's extremely interesting right now that Bitcoin's weekly candle looks very different than how the S&P 500 closed, because that tells me that a move is potentially right around the corner. You can see it reflecting here with the Bitcoin against SPY pair. You can see Bitcoin showing some weakness against the S&P 500 right now, at least. And so this is also something extremely important to monitor. Now, for the bears, what we're monitoring is, in any case, if we start to see Bitcoin against SPY approach the descending triangle support level, that is going to be a major bearish confirmation that we could potentially watch for. And then the opposite is also true. If we break this resistance for Bitcoin against SPY, that's what we're monitoring. But Bitcoin against SPY, you can see it's still inside of this descending triangle. So it's something that's extremely important to monitor. The DXY, quickly, you can see here, we had a pretty bearish daily candle to close out the week. That's exactly what we want to see, because we potentially have a lower high forming here. And right now, you can see the door is open for the DXY to come all the way down to that $108 level. And that is all because of the fact that we're below the major resistance right now, which right now is right around that 112 area. The Ethereum to Bitcoin chart still above 65,000 Satoshis, but the US dollar pairing, what you'll notice, just like Bitcoin on the weekly candle, it is turning green, but it hasn't really made a move just yet. And so that tells me that a move is potentially right around the corner based on how the S&P 500 closed. What we'd like to see is for Ethereum to get above 1323, which is the previous weekly open. If we get above that, it opens up the door to 1440, the 2018 previous all-time high. The major support right now is 1277 for Ethereum. So I think the most interesting puzzle piece that we got coming into this weekend is the fact that the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ closed their weekly candle green. And so that gave Bitcoin the best chance to see some bullish price action into this weekend. And we're seeing a little bit of it right now, but with a weekly candle set to reset in less than 20 hours, that could really bring in some volatility, Snipers. And if we're going to see volatility, the likelihood of that volatility being to the upside is a lot higher than that volatility being to the downside, based on how the sentiment was for the equity markets coming into the close on Friday. And so let's continue to monitor the price action for Bitcoin. 19,800 is the most important level. We want to see the weekly candle close above that level to stamp it as a support level versus a resistance level. And that's the most important thing to monitor right now. And of course, the Bitcoin against SPY chart, very interesting descending triangle that's still active. So let's continue to monitor that. If we start to approach that support level, I'll let you guys know as always. And with Ethereum, the 1277 level is extremely important right now. I quickly wanted to look at some other charts here. Let's look at the weekly candle for how the DXY closed, because we looked at the S&P 500. You can see the DXY also had a red weekly candle, which is pretty bullish. That's positive. And the S&P 500 clearly showing that inverse correlation with a green weekly candle close. And so right now, Bitcoin's weekly candle does not look like the S&P 500. And if they're correlated in any way, that means that we do have some upside on the table here coming into this close for Bitcoin in the next 20 hours. I'll keep you guys updated, snipers. As always, let's look at the NASDAQ really quick. You see the NASDAQ had a nice green weekly candle as well. And so those are all in play right now. Let's continue to monitor the price, sniper. The YouTube algorithm if you support this content. Until next time, snipers, I'll see you guys later, snipers.